talk about the molecular genetics and give you some introduction about this. Okay, I'm not able to check exactly how is your background about this subject, and I guess you're not from one country. So how many countries are you from here? I guess some people from Pakistan. Most. How many people are from Pakistan here? Raise your hand. You said most. So how many people are from Kashmir? So which Kashmir you're from? India. Oh, okay. You're not from So how many people are from Pakistan, Kashmir? All? I think you have two Kashmir. Am I right? Which one is bigger? Indian is bigger in terms of the... Would you like to do it? Yeah. No, it's not. Okay, so how many people are from Iraq? Iraqi. Okay. From Afghanistan? Okay. And then? Other country? Nigeria? How many? Four. So which other countries? Korea. That's very good. South? So which city you're from?
Shouldn't be
Who is American here? You said that there is one American. So please be quiet. I can hear you. All right. Okay. So what do you know about molecular genetics? Okay. So what do you know about genome? Can you tell me about human genome? What do you know about it? What is genome? What is the definition of genome? So please listen here. Keep quiet. You know, definitely you can hear, and also I can hear you. Okay. So can you help her? No. Okay. So who can talk about genome? Human genome.
Every set of DNA includes DNA.
Okay.
Every set of DNA includes all of the human stuff.
So basically, human genome consists of all the genetic materials that a cell has, which is located inside the nucleus. Actually, when we talk about the genome, usually we mean the nuclear genome, but in fact, we have another genome as well. which is called what? Mitochondrial genome. Okay, which is present or is located inside mitochondria. All right. So this question was to start the class. So today we are going to talk a little bit about the human genome, about the molecular characteristics of human genome, a little bit about the structure, and the way genes and alleles basically present and function in humans. Okay, so this is a quote from Sidney Brenner, which is written in the 100th issue of Trends in Genetics in 1993. As you can see, he predicted that by the year 2000, genetics as a separate subject will have disappeared, because he believed that by the year 2000, all the biology will be gene-centered and all biologists will be geneticists. So, okay, so this happened, but the reason that I put here is that the same thing, or nearly the same thing, is happening for medicine. I mean, the role of genetics in medicine is increasing. Basically, is going up every day, and you probably know that okay, the number of genetic disorders and the number of genes, okay, that is being discovered every year, which involve in different human phenotype and diseases, is increasing a lot. And also the role of genetics even in treatment. So at the beginning, everybody basically thought that the genetics or the genes are important only to control the phenotype. But the fact is, we know today that even drug response is a phenotype. Okay, the response to an antihistaminic is a phenotype. The response of a patient to a chemotherapy course is also a phenotype. Am I right? And these phenotypes all are controlled by genes to some extent. So you all heard about the personalized medicine. Am I right? So it's based on the personal or individual characteristics, instead of basically using a specific treatment for all patients with the same disease. Nowadays, we are thinking to somehow personalize this treatment, because many times what we see is basically doing a course of treatment without proper response. And nowadays we know that these responsiveness or unresponsiveness based on the individual characteristics, which are mainly based in genes and genome. So if we can characterize this, then it's possible basically to do a personalized treatment for cancer and for many other disorders that we know. And that's why the personalized medicine is a very hot topic. There are many research going on about personalized medicine. Every day we hear that some new finding and even some drugs basically is getting approved for being used on the basis of personal or individual genetic characteristics. So you know that the number of drugs that is being approved is increasing every day by FDA or other basically authorities, and they recommend that these drugs should be basically prescribed on the basis of the genotype of some genes when you want to basically use them. Okay, so this is the importance of genetics in medicine. Okay, so in summary, every day we'll see that genetics has a bigger role in medicine, and this includes all different subspecialties, from pediatrics, which is very close to basically genetics in terms of their practice, from gynecology until neurology, oncology, and different subjects that you already know. Okay, so that's why we have to learn genetics. It's very simple. And today we're going basically to start this. So what I'm going to talk, as you can see, this is the summary of the terms that we are going to basically describe today. And I hope that at the end of this lecture, you know about these subject if you don't know before. So obviously, as I mentioned, I don't know your background. So for some of you, some of the definition that we say or some of the issues that we discuss might be repetitive. So if you feel that you know, or majority of you know these subjects, please just raise your hand and let me know that we can pass quickly. So what I expect at the end of the lecture is that you know what is genome. The question that I asked first. I want you to know what is chromosome. Okay, what are genes? What is allele? What is the genotype? And the connection with the phenotype. So you should be able at the end of the lecture to define what is genetic variation and the importance of this genetic variation to control human phenotype. So what is polymorphism? What is variant? What is mutation? So these are the terms that I expect you know by the end of these lectures, okay? If we get a chance, we may talk a little bit about the Human Genome Project, but okay, let's see what happens and how we can get on with the lecture. So, in medical genetics, we have two central codes that everybody should know. One of them is knowing human genome. Human genome basically is the organ of genetic subspecialty. If you assume medical genetics as a subspecialty, like cardiology, like gastroenterology, okay, like neurology, like nephrology, so we should have an organ, because every subspecialty has its own organ or system. For example, okay, if you look to or ask a cardiologist, so what is the organ for the cardiologist? It's heart and the circulatory system. For the nephrologist, so kidney and urinary system is the organ and the system that they are focusing. And for the geneticist, the genome is the organ. Okay? So the first step for every geneticist is to know the organ anatomically. A cardiologist first should know the anatomy of the heart. Am I right? A thoracic surgeon should know the anatomy of the thorax well before being able to do anything. So this is exactly what happened for the geneticists. So if you want to know genetics, first you should know anatomy of the organ, and that organ is the genome. So that's why I asked what is genome as the first question. So first, you should know genome very well. What is human genome? What is its structure? What are features of the genome? Okay, what are genes? Okay, what are the other sequences? And what is the role of all these different sequences? So that's the anatomy of the genome. So that is the first step. And the second thing that you should know for the genetics is the principle of heredity. So you should know that how this genome passed from one generation to the next generation, and what happened in meiosis. So what are changes which happen in the genome when it passed from one generation to the next generation? Why? Because that's the basis of controlling these features or human characters. Am I right? So human genome and the information which is stored in this human genome is the main part which controls the human phenotype. And this is what happened from one generation to the next generation. So basically, the description for many of the characteristics that we have lie in the genome. And is